Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about my Bonnaroo 2024 experience. Yes, I know this video is very delayed. Bonnaroo 2024 was almost a year ago, but I hope, this helps anyone who's going in 2025, is entertaining for those that just want to relive that experience, or just entertaining in general. So I did plan on just completely vlogging the whole thing and not having to do this sit-down video. And I did vlog a bit, but there are some gaps here and there, so when I can, I'll let past me speak and I'll just be filling in the gaps. So the first thing I want to talk about is how I went to Bonnaroo for practically free. When I was looking into going for free, I found out about Bonnaroo's volunteer program called Crew. In exchange for a free ticket, camping, and 4 meal tokens, you just have to do 3 6-hour shifts. I personally did toll booths and gates and I had a blast. I'll talk a bit more about what those shifts were like a bit later. I'll also be talking about what my schedule looked like. This is different for everyone, but I was personally a big fan of how mine turned out. And as a first-time volunteer, you do have to volunteer during show, which is any time from Thursday through Sunday, but after you do that first year, you can get accepted to do pre-show, and that is what I'm doing this year. So I'm super stoked about that. So as for getting to Bonnaroo, this was my personal experience. Prior to the festival, I was road tripping around the southeast in my minivan. If you see my last video, I was in Alabama, and then after that, I went to Atlanta to see some friends. And then I went to Nashville the day before I was going to Bonnaroo, and I just spent most of that time really preparing for the festival. This prep included things like charging everything, doing a Walmart run, doing laundry, and then it was time to head to Manchester, Tennessee. Since I was volunteering, I arrived on Tuesday and I filmed that whole process for you, so here you go. Today I am going to Bonnaroo. I am all ready to go, so let's drive over to Manchester, Tennessee. Getting on 24, which is gonna take me right to Manchester. It's also a gorgeous day. There. 2 stops to make before I actually go to Bonnaroo. First stop is at this brewery here, Common John Brewing, to pick up the beer they made in collaboration with Bonnaroo. Look at those cans. Next stop is the local high school to pick up my wristband and camping pass and everything. Look at this. And now I have my wristband, my camping pass, and my volunteering t-shirt. And now I'm heading to the West Toll Booth, 13 minutes away. They have these signs up. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, I guess we're waiting now. Look at this. I guess this is when they search us. Yeah.
Hello? You're volunteer. Cut to the right and take this road where like the campers are going instead of going all the way to the left and waiting in this line.
Gotcha, okay.
You have a parking pass?
I have this. I was given this thing.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Instead of like following these people, just like take your car and like try to cut through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha, thank you. Okay. Car searched, and now I gotta cut through this fiasco. Hey.
He's gonna get you parked down there. Just go down to that other yellow vest.
Cool, thank you. Cool. That's it.
You're good.
Thank you.
As long as you're within the lines, nobody will bother you.
Nice, nice. Camped there. Bathroom is there. The tower the festival. And because I live in here, camp's all set up. So even though Bonnaroo is technically a Thursday through Sunday thing, you can still arrive Tuesday, and there's usually things going on Tuesday and Wednesday before the actual festival starts. The only difference is that before Thursday and Friday, the things that do happen are more in the campgrounds. So Bonnaroo has like a main venue, and that's where those main stages are, and where that big lineup, like where everyone plays. But they also have stages and different programming going on at different little plazas and stages in the campgrounds. So in 2024, the main thing that was going on Tuesday was that 3 DJs played sets at Where in the Woods, which is a stage in Outerroo. I did vlog this day, so here is my experience with all of that. Since it's Tuesday, there's not much going on. I have like a volunteer training thing at 3 o'clock, and then there's a DJ playing at 8:30 that I want to see. So yeah, that's all I have really. So I guess I'll just chill, do my thing, make friends. My neighbor just gave me this. So cute. She also gave me a training. Training shift was quick, like 30 minutes. Just going over some things that you need to know. And we got a free meal token worth $16 that we can use at vendors. So that is good. It's about 6 o'clock. Been drinking some beers today, hanging out with my neighbors. Gonna go see how far the walk to Centeroo is, but also there are some shows that We're in the Woods, and I want to see how far that is. So again, Wednesday is also not technically Bonnaroo, but a lot more was going on that day compared to Tuesday, and it's just kind of like a pre-party for the whole weekend. In 2024, I went to some shows at the group plaza during the day, and then spent the rest of the night at Where in the Woods. Chase and Status essentially headlined, and it was such a good time. I vlogged that very thoroughly too, so here is my experience with that night. Here's the breakfast lineup. Slowly getting ready for the day, but just to tell you guys my little washing routine, there are showers, but it's $10, so I'm gonna only splurge on one day of the festival for that. So in between showers, I'm cleaning my face with micellar water and then bathing my body. I got these like bath sponges. You just take one of them, add water, rub your body, and then you towel off. I just did that now, and I feel much cleaner. I'm gonna continue chilling. The music starts soon at this plaza near me, but I'm not gonna go right away. We'll see. Plaza 5 was nice. Good music. Just went back to my camp to rest for a bit. Heading over to Where in the Woods now. Just lots of drum and bass DJs. So I'll be there all night. I have snacks, I have beer, I have water. I am ready. Still walking. I keep going little side quests, sprouting people, chatting, like looking at the things going on, but I made it to Where in the Woods. And now we're at Thursday. It is officially Bonnaroo. This is kind of where I started vlogging less, so I'll be filling in the gaps more. So I remember I started off the day by waking up at 8 a.m. because of the heat and just chilling until 4 p.m. because that is when I had my first volunteering shift at the toll booths. Since my shift was 4 to 10, I was missing a good chunk of music I wanted to see, but honestly for me it wasn't really a big deal. I saw a lot of cool things the night before, And I knew once I got off at 10, there would still be some music going on. So volunteering at the toll booths is pretty cool. That's where people like enter the campgrounds. So I was just making sure that people had their wristbands, and I was scanning their car camping passes, making sure that's all good to go. And you know, if they had problems, just direct them to where they need to go. The sunset was gorgeous. And then after my shift was over, I all but sprinted over to Bonnaroo to see the rest of Pretty Lights with Nick and all of Chris Lake's set. So I know Chris Lake played at Where in the Woods after that main set, but I personally didn't go because I knew the next day was going to be a big day in terms of my volunteering shifts. Moving on to Friday. This was my double shift day. I volunteered from 10 to 4 and then 7 to 1. So that's the whole day. Barely get to see any music, but I'll get into how it was still a great experience. For my morning shift, I was at the arch entrance, and that was really fun. When you work at the entrances, you just make sure people scan their wristbands into the venue, make sure it's green. If there's any problems, just send them around to go get it fixed, whatever. So yeah, just making sure that was going on, high-fiving them, giving out happy roos. It was high energy, very fun, very hot. And then there was that 3-hour break, so I just spent that time, you know, eating, resting a bit, and showering, getting ready for the night out. And then I went to my 7 to 1 shift, and that was at the tower stage, which is really close to the other. So even though I wasn't at those shows, I could hear everything those DJs were playing. And then since most people are in the venue way before 1 a.m., it started really slowing down for like the last half of the shift, and I'm pretty sure we even got out early. And then from there I went and saw some music. Saw a bit of Mars Volta, where I was just laying down after the long day. Some of Seven Lions, and then I went to Where in the Woods from 3 to 5 to go see Sudden Death's Dead Room set. That set was really fun and crazy, and since it ended at 5 a.m., this is when Friday turns into Saturday. So after a long day and with the sun rising, it was time to sleep, but everyone knows that at Bonnaroo, it is impossible to sleep in your tent past 8 a.m. So me, Nick, and our friend Kevin decided to go to the Grove to sleep. The Grove is like this little oasis in the middle of the campgrounds. It's just like a nice little wooded area. There's lots of shade. There's also a stage there, and we thought that with the shade, that would be our best option for sleep. Just bring some hammocks, set up shop, and just get as much rest as we can. We really did try, but people were up, and you know, we had a group just come and hang out with us, and then people started waking up and bustling around, and then the music started, and it's like pretty loud, honestly. So no sleep going into Saturday night. And if you're at Bonnaroo, I would definitely check out to see when Yomi That Harpist is playing. It is so nice and magical and calming. So all in all, we spent 9 hours at the Grove and finally headed back to camp when things started to cool down around 4 or 5 p.m. Again, no sleep at all. I did end up crashing at camp for like 30 minutes though. It was getting to the point where I was like, I'm gonna pass out. And then it was so hard to wake up, but so worth it because the night ahead was a crazy one. We started off with Cage the Elephant, and I love them, and it was so great to see them in person, and I love the song Trouble, so I was levitating during that. And then Cigarettes After Sex played, and that was really nice and chill. We did not see Red Hot Chili Peppers, who were the main headliners that day, but we did hear them from afar. We were just making our way to Where in the Woods for the Ophelia Records takeover. And then there we saw Jason Ross and Seven Lions do his Psytrance set, and that was really fun. Just a fun dance party vibe. And then it was time to go see the Pretty Lights sunrise set. That was such a nice time. And the sunrise was gorgeous. And then after all of that, we finally did really sleep before I started getting cooked by the sun again. And before we knew it, it was time to get the day started because Chapel Roan was playing at the Witch stage at 3:30, something like that. Rushed over there, definitely looked my craziest that day, but it's all about the vibes. Sunday is so fun at a festival. Chapel Roan was great, and yeah, she was blowing up a lot last summer, so it was cool to see her. Especially in those big festivals, like she was playing all these huge crowds, but Bonnaroo was definitely more manageable. It's still a big crowd, but like not the things you were seeing at Lollapalooza or something like that. And then from there we went to go see Bad Bad Not Good in a tent, and that was a fun little vibe. Enjoyed that. And then I was gearing up to see Fortet, but the weather had other plans. It started raining, and I guess maybe there was some sort of thunderstorm warning because they just shut down music inside the venue for about an hour. And then we saw Galantis and Two Friends at the other stage. And I'm not the biggest fan of them, but it was fun. can't lie. And then we ended the night with the Sunday headliner, Fred Again. That was such a beautiful set, just like great way to end the weekend. And then after that, we basically just slept. And then it was time to leave Bonnaroo, which was kind of a mess. Packed up my things as well as I could and tried to head out, but I think I was stuck in some line for 2 hours. So then I started trying to take a different way, going down back roads, and that was just a mess because different roads were closed. It was just a lot. Absolute madness. But overall, I do highly recommend Bonnaroo. I knew I was going to enjoy it, but I did not know how much I was going to love it. It was really, really fun. Here are some other quick little tips I have, especially for the first timers. If you haven't been, definitely keep these in mind. First thing is that the heat is no joke. I thought people were exaggerating and I underestimated it, but it is really intense. It gets really hot and it's really sunny. There's almost no shade. Drink lots of water, try to find somewhere shady to sleep, stay in the shade during the day when you can, and use lots of sunscreen. Just take care of yourself because you do not want to end up at the med tent. I saw quite a few people do that because, you know, they weren't eating, weren't drinking water, so take care of yourself. This was a surprise. The cell service was really good. I was used to going to festivals where I just had no service, but I think at Bonnaroo there was like maybe once where I couldn't really text people. Depending on how you look at it, that could be a positive or a negative, but it was just surprising to me. And then, I mean, this goes for every festival, but do be prepared to walk a lot and dance a lot. I'm a big fan of sitting at sets. There's no shame in it. And that is it from me. I will be going back to Bonnaroo again this year, and I'm going to try to do a much better job of vlogging, so stay tuned for that. And if you think I missed anything important or have any questions you want answered, please let me know so I can be mindful of including those things in this year's Bonnaroo video. And with that, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye!